Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem has accused the FBI of corruption, alleging that the Bureau leaked plans for large-scale immigration enforcement operations in the Los Angeles area. So on Friday, the LA Times reported that ICE would oversee a large-scale operation targeting individuals without legal status in the US, and then cited an internal document. So Kristi Noem has condemned these leaks, saying that they really undermine federal efforts to enforce immigration laws. We know this was a big part of Donald Trump's campaign. This is what the American people voted for. Is Kristi Noem right here?
No, absolutely not. She hasn't pointed to any specific cases of corruption. She's again casting this wide net of saying that our Federal Bureau of Investigation is corrupt and that the law enforcement agents that put their lives on the line are corrupt and working against the best interests of our country, and she has not one single thing to point to. If you had some evidence, I would be all with you.
Who leaked the documents to the LA Times?
We have no substantial evidence that any FBI agents have done anything criminal or illegal, and yet we have the Secretary of Homeland Security making allegations of criminal activity of our federal law enforcement. It's a disgrace. It's an outrage. These are men and women that put their lives on the line to protect our nation's interests. And then you have the federal government, the Secretary of Homeland Security making allegations of corruption without any evidence. That is wild. And it does no service to the men and women in law enforcement. And it's really a disgrace. If you had evidence, put it forward. And I would be right there behind you. I would be right there behind you, behind the secretary, to say, yes, then root out this corruption. Of course we need to do that. But when you cast a wide net and you say broad statements like that our FBI is corrupt, that's a huge problem. And it does nothing to help the situation, because she's not pointing to any one circumstance. She's claiming that this leak was demonstrated by corrupt officials with no proof. That's the problem. Again, you see a pattern in the Trump administration, whether it's Elon Musk or Secretary Noem, making these wild accusations of criminal activity with no substantiated evidence. That's a real problem, and it's a chilling effect that will wreak havoc and damage to our nation for years to come.
David, so you think there's no corruption in the FBI and no corruption at USAID?
Well, no, I think there possibly could be. When you have large organizations, thousands of employees, I'm sure there probably could be corruption. However, I'm not going to say that there's corruption when I have no evidence and I just have a suspicion. We have to be adults. Their words matter. They are the leaders of our government. So you can't just make accusations because your plan isn't working out to the T that you expected. So you're going to find someone else to blame and make these wild accusations. These are serious libel accusations that should not be just thrown out there willy-nilly. And so that when there is actual corruption,
just to interrupt, sorry.
then you need evidence.
Yes, exactly. You need the evidence. So I suppose you would support then Elon Musk and his Doge team finding the evidence and exposing it for all of America and the world to see.
Absolutely.
So are you impressed with what he's discovered so far, and you support Doge?
Well, I support the theory of it.
The theory,
but I haven't seen
but
that.
not reality. You'd rather things be kept hidden?
No, absolutely not. I didn't say that. What I said is that if you have this evidence, then bring it forward. Show us. Yeah. Well, that's what we want to see. And that's what we're hoping for. But when you have situations like Elon Musk going into the Treasury and then complaining that he wasn't given access because he doesn't have the right security clearance, but then complaining that that's interference, that's not right. What that is doing is sending a chilling effect so that no one will ask questions, and we will allow these people to have our most sensitive data. And that's what's really causing the backlash. When people learn that their sensitive data, their social security numbers, their tax information is being out there without any safeguards, that's the concern. And to say that Democrats or anyone is standing in the way of government efficiency and cracking down on waste, fraud, or abuse is absolutely wrong. That is not the point.
They're protesting against it.
No one is saying that. No, what I'm protesting against is the fact that they're going in and making these accusations with no proof. If you had the proof, show us, and I think everyone will be there right in line. But when you make these wild accusations that the whole USAID program, this whole government agency, is a corrupt organization, quote unquote, that's too hard to swallow. That's unbelievable.
David,
and if you had the information, then provide that. But that's not what's being provided.
Yes, it absolutely is. David, just finally, has the Democrats, do you think, have they really learned any lessons from the election? I don't know that they have.
Well, I think that they have. I think the difference is you have a Democratic Party, a big tent, different opinions and ideas on how to best move the country forward. Juxtapose that to what's the Republican Party, which has really become the party of Donald Trump. You can see in that there's no real ideology or principles guiding the party right now. Because if there were, you would take someone like Donald Trump and say, well, wait, you flip-flopped on so many different issues. You're talking about isolationism, or you're talking about preventing foreign wars. Well, now you're instigating and you're saying we're going to occupy Gaza. We're going to go in and maybe take the Panama Canal by force. This is like a 180 for the Republican Party, and it's hard to even understand what the Republican Party stands for other than being the rah-rah support cheerleader for Donald Trump. So I think that's the difference. And yes, is the Democratic Party perfect? No, by no means. And yes, are they trying to find a footing in this political climate and message to people in the United States? Yes. But I think the difference is when the dust settles here, you'll see that the Democratic Party actually stands for something, and the GOP is starting to fade away on principles, on character, on what they stand for, and is becoming unrecognizable.
David Carlucci, we have to leave it there. Thank you again for joining us on Power Hour.
You got it. Thank you.